Master, dinner is served. Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic? Yes, Master. Forgive me, Master. Please. Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio. Paradelphia, because what if it's all true?
Robert Englund here, a.k.a. Freddy Krueger, and you're listening to Toxic Radio. Check it out or die slow.
Hey, buddy. Raw. Hey, man, that's a sweet heavy metal happy hour t-shirt. Where'd you pick that up?
Thanks, dude. I got it at the Toxic Radio shop.
Toxic Radio has a shop?
Yeah, dude. It's in the app or online at toxicradio.net.
That is sweet.
Yeah, and I also got a rockin' Toxic Radio hoodie and a Red Band Underground shirt. Dude, I'm gonna look so rockin' at the party tomorrow.
Well, I think you look pretty now.
Oh, wait, what?
The Toxic Radio shop is a place to get all your Toxic Radio gear. Shirts, hoodies, stickers. Find it at toxicradio.net or on the app. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic. Hey, where you going, man?
Hey, this is Mike Busey, and when I'm not touching myself, I'm listening to Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe, play it toxic.
Hey, this is Kel Mitchell, and you're listening to Toxic Radio. It's getting toxic.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's time to get funky. Time to take it toxic. And we're going to take it deep here on Toxic Radio, as you can tell. And yeah, checking out my hat there. Phil and Phyllis, if you old schoolers know about that. The old school Phillies logo. And we got a lot to talk about today. Of course, Rona will be in the cycle because when is it not? I think the number one sport right now is Corona. Yep, number one rated sport. What do you think, Mike? Corona?
Oh, Corona's dominating
the news cycle, yeah.
The news and every other category, and dominating sports. Just, dude, I was watching again. We've been talking a lot about wrestling, and I just happened to turn on some wrestling recently, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, it's just not the same with what has happened with the coronavirus and everything, and watching them just play to emptiness. Now, I know that you're a sports fan and you're watching, the baseball and the hockey, and they call it the hockey. And it's the same thing, but it's just so sad.
Well,
really
one
is.
thing I saw watching the Phillies game the other night, and I love the unedited, raw version of it, pun intended, since we're talking about wrestling. When I say they, we're talking about, or they had a guy, he got thrown out the game. And so since things are live and there's no crowd noise, you hear stuff you're not, and the delay didn't get to it. And he's like, the guy got thrown out, he's like, this is fucking bullshit. And like, you heard it. And then it was like not real loud, but Tom McCarthy's like, okay then, so, and he drops the F-bomb. He's like, that's fucking bullshit, bro. And he's talking to the umpire, Angel Hernandez. And that's part of the reason I like, at least with some sports, that I could see with wrestling, how it's different. Like the WrestleMania this past year was complete garbage. The Undertaker match was complete garbage. It felt like a B-movie porn that you would see on Showtime, except when those sex, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, did they record this with their iPhone? Like, it just felt so unnatural. And they did the best they could.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was on short notice, but yeah, with wrestling, the crowd kind of not being there kind of messed it up. I can see the beauty of it.
How has regular sports been with no crowds?
It really hasn't affected me.
Really not.
No,
I'm surprised.
I kind of dig sports being played with no crowd and hearing noises you don't normally get to hear, sounds of the game, so to speak. Like the XFL had everybody mic'd up. That was part of their product, and sometimes that would be bad, like curses would get dropped on TV, which I think as a nation, can we really handle if our kid hears an F-bomb is the end of the world?
I think they can, absolutely.
Yeah, but so that's a little bit overplayed. Like, oh my God, Johnny, did you just fucking hear what they just said? Cover your fucking ears.
Yeah.
Right now.
So you're that's not affecting you too bad, having it be no crowd.
No,
I'm shocked.
Maybe it affects the players. Maybe sometimes, maybe in football it might be different. But as far as baseball,
affect them, because when the crowd would rally around, the roar of the crowd, the boos and the yays, and the players feed off it. Anybody who's an entertainer, and I look at players, they're kind of like, they are entertainers in a way. They're sports players, but they're entertaining a crowd.
Some of them zone the crowd out though, and they don't hear it. Some players,
really?
Some players they're like in their own separate world.
Because I was listening to some of the Eagles players talk on the morning news and saying how Phillies fans are like those fans that you really feed off of their energy, and they become a part of the game because of how much you can feed off their energy. And with them not being there or there to psych out the other team, it's totally throwing everything off.
Yeah, well, we got a lot to talk about today, and some of you folks can call in and say whether you like it with no crowd noise or you do like it with crowd noise. If that's the case,
never bring the crowd back again.
Never bring back the crowd again. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You can call in and share your opinion on that. We're going to talk about a few non-sports things because it just happened to fall up on the non-sports or supposedly sports website of TMZ Sports. But Jake Paul got his house raided by the FBI. I know Mike's going to be all over this one.
Dude, did you see his house?
Apparently, so I'm on GQ.com, and apparently, because I'm a GQ individual.
Yeah.
But wait, what? Jake Paul, when someone said that, I was like, well, I know who he is. He I discovered him during the Vine days.
Yes, that's exactly when I discovered him, was during the Vine days.
That's why I'm so surprised by this love for TikTok, because it's basically Vine reincarnated, is it not?
It pretty much is. And I was actually thinking that just the other day of how it really is just TikTok reinvented. Because a lot of the Vine people, kind of parlayed over into YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bring up a picture of what Jake Paul's house is. Now, this is what YouTube and Vine and TikTok, if you do it properly, can buy you. And this house,
wow.
They show an aerial view, and I'll try and find the aerial view of the house. But it's ginormous. It's ridiculous. It's obnoxiously big.
Well, as GQ says, just as the sun must rise and set, just as the tides must ebb and flow, so too must YouTube infant terrible Jake Paul be embroiled in a new controversy. This time, however, the consequences may be more severe than merely getting fired from Disney Channel show called, I don't even know what it's called, Bizaardvark or something.
I have no idea.
On Wednesday morning, an FBI SWAT team raided his Calabasas mansion, reportedly seized multiple firearms. Let us unpack this, Bizaardvark and all. So, they think, this is their opinion, Jake Paul is a true menace to society. So
Jesus Christ.
The social media star, once crowned a reality villain for the YouTube generation by the New York Times, came to prominence on the now discontinued app Vine in 2013, which seems like for fucking ever ago.
Forever. Before
pivoting to YouTube, where now he has over 20 million followers for posting videos with titles like Hot Girlfriend Wakes Up by Tiger Prank, I duct taped my brother's $400,000 truck, and gigantic gorilla scare prank on my girlfriend. Hilarious. So he's also recently released a single, fresh out of London, though he's only 23 years old. His past is a treasure trove of dumbassery. So, in late May, he was caught allegedly entering a Scottsdale, Arizona mall after it was looted in the midst of Black Lives Matter protests per NBC. The Scottsdale Police Department received hundreds of tips and videos identifying Paul participating and charging him with trespassing, along with the YouTuber Arman Azadi and friend Andrew Leon in early June. So they have this clip on GQ.com. You can probably find it out there. So his YouTube star Jake Paul and his friends were caught looting and trashing property in Scottsdale Mall last night amid protests. Interesting.
What?
Yep.
No
After the
way.
video circulated, but before the charges were passed down, Paul released a statement on Twitter saying, neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism. For context, we spent the day doing our part to peacefully protest one of the most horrific injustices our country has ever seen. Sure you have. And this is what he said, to be absolutely clear, neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism. So, then in mid-July, evidence leaked of a massive party Paul hosted at his Calabasas mansion.
What? Oh, shit!
You belong.
Oh, shit! Oh, my God!
I'm not gonna-
Wait, I got something over here.
No, that's not. See it in there.
I got this video, the phone of Big Paul during these riots inside of a mall.
Yeah, we can put it up there. Why not? There we go. So, interesting.
Shit is going down!
This is him.
Oh, shit!
They
Oh,
had to.
shit!
They had to. Look at them. They're all chilling.
I would have turned it the fuck off.
Hey, yo, give me
Is
a
that how you
free
get people
cologne.
out of your mall? You turn off the air conditioning?
Cut power, air conditioning. Fuck yeah.
It does,
How do we get them out of
that's
there?
Logan.
Cut the air conditioner and sweat them out.
Huh?
No plumbing, so you can't take a shit or piss.
Yo, Logan.
You know, people are like,
Yeah,
oh
go.
man,
Hey, that's not
yeah,
looking
I gotta take a piss. I've been holding the
This is all in LA, right?
Go, go,
Arizona?
So, you know, there's several videos, but he says he had nothing to do with it. The mayor of Calabasas and his neighbors tell me they are outraged after they say YouTube celebrity Jake Paul threw a massive party at his mansion on Saturday. They call it irresponsible, selfish, and say it's business' workers who pay the price for his lockdown, which I kind of agree with. I'm a realist. I think we got to learn how to live through this, but at the same time, we don't need to add unnecessary risk to what everybody's going through.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this makes me think of an article I believe that came out in the Enquirer about, well, they were doing contact tracing in the PA area, Philadelphia, and they were seeing that a lot of people from their shore and their family shore trips were bringing back the small spiky cases we've seen in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised. I told everybody before the lockdown was lifted that they, come hell or high water, they would have made sure it was lifted because the shore season cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped.
Oh, you can't you open those beaches. I mean, come on,
Yep.
It's a holiday weekend.
So
You
they
gotta
did.
open them.
I think they reluctantly gave in because they just saw what would have happened. Might have made it worse, but who knows? But and he purchased that mansion for $6.9 million.
And again, people, this is from Vine, where you had like 9 seconds or whatever to create a video.
He's just a prankster,
YouTube.
right? I mean,
Yeah, he just does stupid stuff. He's a vlogger. He vlogs.
So, contrary to popular belief, the FBI SWAT team did not raid Paul's house on account of him being an all-around dreadful boy. The Los Angeles Times reports that it was tied to the alleged looting investigation in Arizona from late May. So, the federal authorities are coming after you for looting. It's
Right.
obvious. If you loot it, they will find you. And if you are someone that's high profile like Jake Paul, they're definitely going to find you.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a relative that used to work in the FBI, retired, and they told me that the FBI is going to go after you if you're high profile, or there's a lot of money involved, or you might be connected to someone like a senator and someone stealing from them, and might be tied to what their budget would be.
Yeah.
But he fits under the bill of high profile, so they're definitely going after this dude. It's unclear what the FBI expected to find, but they have reportedly seized multiple firearms, including at least 5 long guns, which means a rifle, one leaning against an otherwise chilled, what does that say? Talaboo of a hot table?
Talaboo?
What the fuck is that? I don't know. And a hammock. But, oh yeah, you can see it in the picture right there. It looks like an AR-15. But yeah, so I guess you want to have that there. So they seized it. They're going to have to give that back to them. But the FBI is executing, this is from them, a federal search warrant at a residence in Calabasas in connection with the ongoing investigation. The affidavit in support of the search warrant has been sealed by a judge, and I am therefore prohibited from commenting to the nature of the investigation. No arrest or plan. I believe that was... Yeah, so... Has Paul responded yet? YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and any other potential social media channels remain silent. However, his lawyer, Richard Stoltenfeld, undoubtedly one of the wearier men in America, said in a statement that we are still gathering information and will cooperate with the investigation. We reached out to Paul's team for comment, and the post will be continually updated as information comes in. In the meantime, please stay away from any heavy construction equipment you encounter at parties. So apparently he had a huge ass crane there too. I hear about like craziness. This guy didn't he make like some bad joke about like Japanese people committing suicide? I think that's what Alexander here is talking about. You know, after the dead body in the forest thing, Jake Paul had it coming, and he did have it coming. I agree. Wasn't a fan of his, didn't hate him, but he did have it coming. I have to agree. So apparently our audio is fading in and out.
Yes, I'm back here working on the audio very quickly. But,
thank you
as
for helping us.
As far as I know, it's only towards our video stream. The audio going out the radio and the audio being recorded is perfectly fine. So
if you can't hear us and you do want to hear us, Mike will post in the link where you can go listen to us. And if you have an iPhone, you can listen to us on the app on the iPhone.
I'll talk to you more about the app later on. I have it all set for V5.
Wow. That was an aggressively loud flush, and that was representing Jake Paul's career. Although he keeps coming back from the dead, and we're just reflushing, doing the audio and again, you know. So, but he had it coming. I agree. The thing about Jake Paul that I found amazing is he's rioting and looting. Like, what a douchebag! And he has a millionaire. He has a mansion. He's a millionaire.
Yeah, he had to have been doing it for some kind of like weird ass gimmick or something, or maybe a vlog or something. He thought it was funny.
He was doing it. He was doing it for the gram, baby.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Don't even say that. How dare you?
Doing it for the gram.
That's it. Put a gun in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, this dude. Yeah, so I just think, wow. I guess karma's a bitch, and it did get him. So you could go to GQ.com, and I sent that to you, Mike, right?
I don't know. I'm back here frantically trying to make sure that everybody hears every word that you're saying.
Well, that is so sweet of you. We'll post it to the website if you guys want to check out the article. But we got a lot more to talk about today. 856-485-9565. We're going to talk more about sports. You know, is it going to happen? What has happened? Are the Cardinals riverboat gamblers? Phillies are back in action. They played the Yankees. Will the NFL season still happen after the opt-out time period is passing? Nothing of note. How's the bubble model working? And, you know, also, strippers are protesting in Philadelphia.
Oh, my God. What the hell?
Now, here's the thing about that. I'm okay with anybody protesting. The reason why I'm bringing this up is if you guys are avid listeners of the show, you would remember that I kind of trolled Jamie, who's not here today, and Mike over here was saying that there would be outdoor social distance lap dances in New Jersey.
Oh, Jesus. There is not.
That
is not a thing.
But for some reason, there has been protests. So in the fourth week of protests, calls for better conditions for strip club workers. That's right. They need better conditions.
They do need better conditions. I'm with them. I mean, come on. Well, they need a mop boy behind them at all times.
So, a handful of events were scheduled for Saturday, including a dance rally in support of Black Lives Matter in West Philly, healthcare workers calling for the abolition of police, prisons at City Hall, and sex workers calling for safe conditions during the pandemic at Malcolm X Park. So, some neighbors were not very happy with this. There was a lot of security, apparently, and but there were portable stripper poles. You can easily look this up. People were wearing face masks and trying to social distance. See some girl in some nice S&M clothing here with a hula hoop on. So, both dancers say the current wave of activism across the country has been a catalyst for the recent efforts, and that policing, race, and human rights are all issues that intersect directly with sex work. They could be right.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I just don't know. I'm very curious as to how strippers are getting along these days. Everybody forgets about them.
Oh, the word that we use, and Jake Paul would be the mush of the week.
Oh, the mush.
He is the mush. I mean, what a mush you are if you're going to... You're a social media guy who records everything.
Yep.
And you don't think people are going to record you. They know who you are. You have 20 million followers. Likely more people than that know who you are because not everybody's going to follow you. Like, I don't follow him, but I know who he is. and you go out looting, perhaps you could be wearing a face mask. Perhaps you can conceal your identity. Or perhaps you shouldn't loot at all, which no one should loot. Although, that's a whole nother question. But yeah, he's a fucking mush. He is the mush of the week. I mean, this guy's living in a mansion. He needed to go mush. I guess some people just like to be in the action, I guess, right?
Mush.
Yeah. Eddie Mush. So, mush of the week. Thank you for bringing it up, sir. I almost forgot the name of mush of the week. And he is the mush. So, the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, are riverboat gamblers. They love to play, the slots, I guess, and especially during Rona. So, I don't know if that was a good idea for them. What do you think?
Probably not.
That's the asshole whistle.
You found one that was even louder than the one before after I turned down the volume. You have me running laps back here, sir. I appreciate it, though. You're making my Fitbit go up a little bit more.
Yeah, you're getting your steps done. So,
I definitely am.
The Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, for those of you that follow baseball, they decided that they were going to go on gambling spree. So
Why?
St. Louis Cardinals went to casino before COVID-19 outbreak. They are having a problem. And that's from John Heyman on NBC Sports, and Jerry Hairston Jr. says the St. Louis Cardinals took an ill-advised trip to a casino before their COVID-19 outbreak, although it hasn't been proven that was the cause. Interesting. At least a couple of Cardinals did go to the casino, as Jerry Hairston reported, first suggested. Major League has since tightened its rule on leaving the team hotel from very strongly discouraged to not allowed. Cards COVID count going into today, 3 players, 4 staff.
But they're idiots. What kind of dumbassery is that?
It's a lot. And the dumbassery is the league. See, the NFL is going to have their season, and this is why I brought this up, because they're seeing what not to do, right?
Yeah.
It's obvious. The only model that's going to work so far is some sort of the bubble model, because the NBA's had a couple days in a row of 0 tests positives.
Right.
It's working there.
Uh-huh.
The NHL is doing a really good job with it. Both bubble, right? Limiting travel, limiting places you can go. I know it's kind of crazy. People feel claustrophobic when they say you have to stay in a bubble. But let's just imagine that you might be someone that could be in a third world country in a hard labor camp, and you can't go anywhere. Let's not be baby bitches. Baby back bitches.
Baby back bitches.
Yeah. I mean, if you said to me, hey, man, and I'm not a professional athlete, you got a couple $100,000, you got to stay in this bubble for 2 months, but sign me up.
Yeah.
I mean, Biodome wasn't so scary, was it?
No.
I don't know if I could hang out with Pauly Shore for 2-3 weeks.
I mean, I definitely could wheeze the juice with him for a couple of months.
Oh, my God, wheezing the juice. That's an Encino Man reference. Wheezing the juice. So that has to be, I mean, that's like, I guess it's one of those movies where it's like, oh, I'm watching this.
For the 5th time.
We can do a whole list of bad Pauly Shore movies. Son-in-Law.
And I would agree, and I would go against you and say they are the list of great Pauly Shore movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did you ever get into Ozark on Netflix?
No.
I tried to, and I hit a wall.
Did you?
I don't know.
How was that wall?
It was like, I know where it's going, but it was good. But I just couldn't. It couldn't help. It couldn't keep my attention. So, I don't know, man. Ugh. So, Jake Paul, don't be rioting and looting. So I hope they don't catch my film. JK, just kidding. So, back to the strippers. So, it attracted people. And the people in the Malcolm X Park were not happy. And they said, what right is it of you to make me... wow, is that from that?
I don't know. This is a random Google image of what appears to be a stripper with pasties on, combat boots, stockings, of a full body stocking thing, a mask, and she seems to be handing with one of those things that you use to pick up trash off the highway, handing a roll of toilet paper to a gentleman in a van of some kind. Yeah. But and it looks like it's in a giant tent. Well, with a bouncer in the background.
This is from TribeLive.com. Professional strippers stage clothing optional strike at PA Park. Community members are angry after getting an eyeful during a stripper protest at Philadelphia's Malcolm X Park earlier this week. As 6 ABC in Philly reports, the irate community members and the group Stilettos Inc. don't see eye to eye on the worth of the flesh-exposing labor strike aimed at COVID-19 restrictions and better working conditions.
How do you get to tell me how to fight for my rights?
Are the strip? I'm pretty sure strip clubs right now.
Strip clubs have to be closed. There's no. Here's the funny thing: nobody ever specifically, at least in Jersey, our governor never specifically called out strip clubs as not being able to.
Well, you could probably do the booth where you put the quarter in and the thing. I mean, that's as socially distant as you can get, right?
So I would imagine, but I mean, I guess it can be considered non-essential work. I guess it can be considered, no gatherings of greater than blah 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 indoors. But as far as like a strip club is nothing more than a bar / restaurant where you can go get a beer and food, but you're watching either half naked or naked women up on stage as a bonus. So I would imagine that it just basically follows the same guidelines as a restaurant or a bar wherever you're at. Right?
I mean, we're having trouble people leaving rubber gloves on the street. I mean, I hope we're not going to see a increase of used condoms that's strewn about everywhere.
I hope not either, but
that is practicing safe sex, though.
Yeah, it is practicing safe sex, and yeah, I don't want to know what the guys are doing in the car with the toilet paper either.
Remember, there's something about Mary when the lights came on and they were at the rest stop, and he's like, "Yeah, it's the gay bathhouse of the '90s."
Yes, but I don't see why strip clubs, because they have not been called out by name, and no governor is going to call them out by the gentlemen's clubs can now open. We've decided that COVID is good enough that they can open.
Twerking is legal.
Twerking is legal. What does that even mean?
No.
What does that mean?
I mean, there could be a question that comes up. Is twerking legal?
I mean, I would imagine it is. I don't know who said it wasn't. Is there a state where twerking is illegal?
Yeah.
Did that become a thing?
Tiki Teak Strip Club run by Jesus Shuttleworth is that's how the news will start. But here's the thing about this: there's a thing called Philly Tribe Live, a website, and that's where I'm reading a lot of this from. The neighbor goes, "This was not the place to hold it." Kim Fuller, family life coordinator for Global Leadership Academy. I'm pretty sure she wasn't going to like it after that title. The images that were sent to me were upsetting because they were exposing, and my thoughts was, there are babies in the park. If you're going to protest for better treatment at work on the job, I think the place to protest is where you're having an issue at.
No, the place to protest is where people are going to pay attention to what you're saying.
There was a rebuttal from Stilettos Inc. though.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They reject this criticism and say they plan to hold similar skin exposing events at the park at 51st and Pine Streets in West Philadelphia. Now it's funny, Philadelphia, we were joking about, these lap dances happen in Jersey. Philadelphia was like, move the fuck over. We're going to show you how to do this. We're going to protest naked. Jersey, step aside.
Jersey doesn't want to show the dibbly parts, the limbly parts, the things that hang out.
Well, maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
They don't want to. We don't want to show the roast beef.
I imagine if the guys were in a car, it would be sound like this.
What the hell? All right.
What does that mean? What does what mean?
I don't know. You said something that upset the ladies in the room.
She said gibbly beef, or maybe it was your roast beef comment.
I mean, every now and then you want a little Arby's. It's okay. Nobody's hating on.
Gotta go with the cheddar on the Arby's roast beef.
No, just get the Arby's sauce and you're good to go. But if I get the what the hell, the jalapeno poppers, gotta get the Bronco sauce to dip that in. Oh my God, the Bronco sauce.
Nice. Bronco sauce has a term in strip clubs, but we'll talk about that later. So it goes. What we were doing was fundraising to raise funds for dancers who are not working during COVID. So stripping is illegal, regardless. If we see said stripping pole dancing in the park, all that's legal. We're not here to talk about moralities. We're here to talk about legality, she said. Wow. The Broad Daylight Sunday event was held on the opposite end of the park to avoid the playground. 6 ABC noted. So it wasn't in the playground.
Yeah.
They're making it sound like it was. Still, a meeting between the strippers and some community members held at the park on Tuesday got heated.
I think it should become a weekly meeting.
Well, we have a video for you to play here.
Okay, I'll get this one in time. You can get it to me.
I'm gonna send you. It's right on here. It's down. It's Christy Ileto, and you'll see it. You'll see it one. It's about an 8-second long video, but it's kind of hilarious. I mean, maybe I think it's funny, but maybe no one else does. We'll find out.
All right.
But Philly Tribe Live, and it continues. So I mean, yeah, we were like, step aside, New Jersey, Philly. We're gonna show you how we handle this stripper problem.
Yes.
Fuck you guys.
How do you get to tell me how to
Now,
fight
this
for my
looks like
rights?
some women that are upset about the strippers being there, and the guys are just there for moral support for the ladies.
Well, this lady's upset.
How do you get to tell
Everybody
me
has a
how
face
to
mask
fight
on.
for
I'm
my
proud of you
rights?
guys. Did we get the
come
audio
to
on
a
that
point
too?
where I
We don't have the. Do we need the audio on this?
I think we should. Maybe.
Okay, let me get the audio. It takes me a second.
We'll do the audio real quick. I just want to hear the interaction here. But this is actually in the park. This is a community leader. Looks like a concerned mom and a lady, I believe, that may be a stripper or supporter of said strippers.
How do you get to tell me how to fight for my rights?
How do you get to come to a park where I come to sit and expose?
It's a public park. It's a public park.
That's it. It's a public park. All right.
Well,
GTFO. GTFO.
That's really not going to. Yeah, people in the community were going to be upset. I don't think that was a good strategy by Stilettos Inc. But you know, hey, I guess it got their name out there, so they plan to hold similar events. So keep an eye out for them. 51st and Pine. For my thirsty, creepy guys out there that still need that strip club fix, you know, who knows? But the guy sounding like Darth Vader is probably in their car if they're watching it from a distance. You know what I mean?
And don't tell me Arby's is gross. What the hell was that? Don't ever do that again.
Arby's isn't gross.
Arby's is amazing. First off, Arby's is in my top 5 of fast food places to go to. Arby's makes the top 5 list. So just simmer down.
Yeah. Simmer down.
Not number 1, Burger King.
Burger King is number 1.
Burger King is number 1.
If you like Burger King as number 1, I have to say you have a boring palate.
Dude, Burger King, I don't know what that means, but Burger King, first off, the Whopper is the best burger you can get fast food-wise. I don't give a shit who you are, what you come at me. Burger King, number 1. When you go up there and you get the 4 for $4 and you get the regular cheeseburgers.
What about the Big Bacon
Classic?
Classic?
By far best, and their French fries, number 1. Number 1 French fries.
Big Bacon Classic?
The Big Bacon Classic from who?
Wendy's.
Wendy's is number 2 on my list. Wendy's is number 2 because you got chili. Because you can get chili there. So Wendy's is number 2. But the
what
Big
about
Bacon,
Sonic?
Big Bacon, Sonic, just go over there, play with your rings. Shut up, Sonic. Sit over there.
Oh.
Sit over there.
Well,
Sonic can get the fuck out too, just like with everybody else. But no, and the onion rings at Burger King, you get an onion rings and your fries. It's like you struck gold.
I can't do the onion rings.
It's like you struck gold.
I can't do the onion rings. It will be an explosion that no one will like.
Oh, even the Impossible Whopper. Oh, so good.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've tried it. It tastes the same.
I would have to say Arby's is,
but the calories are the same, so you might as well get the real fucking thing.
I don't know, but it was a nice gimmick. It was cool. It was nice to get. It was interesting. Chick-fil-A, get the fuck out. No, Chick-fil-A can suck it. Chick-fil-A is nasty chicken sandwich with like one little pickle, and if you get their chicken nuggets, they suck too.
Chick-fil-A is good all the way around.
Chick-fil-A,
from customer service to food.
Just shut up.
The spicy chicken fingers
just shut up.
Awesome.
Just shut up. Just get out of here. Arby's is probably number 3 or number 4 just because of their selection. Their sandwiches come out and they're thick and they look like the picture. Come on.
They look like I don't know about
yes.
that.
Oh, my
they
God.
Never look like the
when
picture.
you get the sandwich with the thick bread. I'm sorry we're going on. I'm getting hungry over here. She set me off.
You don't even eat bread, though.
But when I did, it was so good. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Arby's is good. It's certain places have it. You don't see it too often.
You don't.
But
when you see it and you get it.
I can't co-sign on Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is delicious.
Chick-fil-A is disgusting. Chick-fil-A is. I'd rather go to KFC.
I don't know. Someone on here says Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A. I feel like Popeyes is, hey, can I get some chicken with that salt?
Now Popeyes I've had only a few times, and I haven't had it enough to really get a grasp on it, whether or not I like it or not.
I feel like it comes with high blood pressure.
I had the chicken fingers, and they were really good and crispy and different. I liked the flavor of them, but they don't make my top 5. But if I had to go with Popeyes or Chick-fil-A, just from my short experience, Popeyes over Chick-fil-A all day, every day. At least I can go there on Sunday. Just saying. I'm not wrong, by the way. And I love roast beef sandwiches. Give me all your roast beef.
That might have a whole different meaning.
It is not a ridiculous statement. You are all wrong. I am correct. This is I have a microphone, so that means that my list is supreme.
That is Mike right now talking about Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is the worst. The worst.
Listen, if you guys want some good under-the-radar chicken, if you're in the Philadelphia area, and it's usually in a gas station, follow me here. I know that makes it questionable right away.
Yeah, I'm good.
Crispy
right
crunch,
next to the Magnums.
Crispy Crunch chicken with a K. So crispy with a K and crunch with a K. It's fucking phenomenal. Trust me when I tell you this. You will not regret it. Crispy Crunch chicken.
And let's go off of chicken for 2 seconds. I need to bump everything I said down one. Because right after Burger King, before even Arby's, and before all the other stuff, Taco Bell. Then I'm done. Now I'm done.
Taco smell?
Taco Bell. All right?
I mean, it can be delicious, but, I mean.
So I'd go Burger King, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Arby's.
Yeah. Your bathroom must be an explosion. Like you go in there, someone died. But so speaking of
with 5 honorable mentions,
yes.
Our honorable mentions will be Carl's Jr.
We have a lot of I haven't had it since the 90s.
White Castle.
Yeah. So back to COVID. All this stuff going on. Will we have sports? Will we have sports? What season's going to play out? I think they're all going to play out. And circling back to these Cardinals, who decided to do a little riverboat gambling. I don't know if it was on a riverboat, but since it's in St. Louis, I just visually pitching it.
Right.
Or picturing it. And they teams like this will fuck it up for everyone. But baseball is continuing on through this. Everybody said, oh, their season's going to get collapsed. And it hasn't. So my point of bringing it up is football is going to happen. If baseball could survive this, football will.
Right.
Maybe football goes to a bubble city model. I read that it's not possible for them to do that because of logistics. I'm not sure, but I do have to say that football is going to happen. The deadline for players to opt out has passed. Nobody of note really so far has passed. Some secondary players, but no real big superstars have opted out. So people are going to play, and they're going to try to do this. Now, doing a quick pivot, to that, the Eagles, I don't know if you heard, Doug Pederson tested positive.
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah. So Marcus Hayes of the Inquirer writes, further proof that the NFL and MLB must isolate or fail. So he thinks they have to go to a bubble city. I tend to agree with them because the results are showing that. But, he seems to be asymptomatic.
Mm-hmm.
But he tested positive on Sunday, proving that fate is not to be trifled with. Last week, Peterson proclaimed the new NovaCare complex is our bubble. I guess not. And the NovaCare complex is Citizens Bank Park, Yankee Stadium, and the 2 ballparks where the contaminated Cardinals played aren't bubbles, not even close. Like convenience stores and grocery stores and gyms, even with precautions in place, sports venues are the wild, wild west of containments where an outlaw virus can slip in and make even the most cautious social distancer vulnerable to its dangers.
Right.
I saw someone, I was walking by someone the other day because on Saturday I went out for some drinks and some, food. That's right. You didn't know that? We're allowed to do that, though, in Philadelphia.
I know. I
don't
get that.
You're outside, not inside. And I was walking past a girl. We all had masks on. And she seemed freaked out, like I was going to pee Corona on her.
Well,
I looked at her. We made eye contact, and she's like,
well, did you ask if you could pee on her? I mean,
I wasn't even doing that. I was just trying to, we were just walking by, and I was like, oh my God. And I have a weird sense of humor, so instinctually I wanted to just pretend cough, but I didn't. But in my head, I was like, I should do that, but I didn't. But I was just like, I mean, if you're that freaked out by it, that freaked out, right. I would completely avoid everything. You know what I mean? Me personally, during my day job, I have to coexist in this and learn how to get through it. Unfortunately, a lot of us are in that position where we can't have that luxury of opting out 100%. Most of us have jobs where we can't do that.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. And, we got to figure out how to circumvent this. It's like we're in a real life, like Mario Brothers or Q*bert or some fucking video game where we're like, step on this square, you're good. This one, you're not. We're playing tic-tac-toe all the fucking time with our lives. Now, I don't know. Certain people freak out about it. And she just gave me this look like I was just like pooping on myself and throwing it at her. I was just like, Jesus, this girl's intense.
I want to know how you know what that looks like. Like that look.
I've seen it with you at a bar. You don't remember.
Yeah, that's a Fishman party.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so, these stadiums are huge. So how do you keep every inch clean? I don't know how you do that at these huge cathedrals,
Laura's field is the number 2 dangerous COVID job. Well, Laura, you're not allowed back over.
So, NFL and Major League Baseball could track their players, monitor their movements, and their vital signs like the NBA. The current system chaperones observers, and a buddy system is not working. All this would mean no family, no freedom, no fun for half a year, like the military. So, players in all leagues have balked at the bubble concept, none as belligerently as baseball and football players. They are, after all, independent, narcissistic, spoiled, and rich. I disagree with that. That's Marcus Hayes. And that there are some of those individuals there, but, you see inconsistencies, and you're asking, well, if we could do this, why can't we do that? Like, Mike, you were talking about, like, why can we go outside the restaurants, but you can't go in? And I understand you're outside, you're more distant. Why can you do this when you can do that? People say we want to open restaurants, but restaurant workers are like, well, no, because now we have to mitigate more risk, talking to people that actually do the job, right?
Yep.
But we're not going to go down the coronavirus rabbit hole here. In terms of football, their season's going to happen no matter what.
Right.
What my footballers out there, my fantasy footballers have to take into in consideration is you better know your backup players. If you're in a football league, you better have a fantasy football league. If you're worth your salt, you're going to have a practice squad or more IR spots. So, because the league is going to suck because people, they get a tested positive. It's going to be a whole week.
We got a call, it looks like.
We have a call. I believe we have Alex on the line. Alex, drop the knowledge on us.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How's it going? Thank you for listening. And thanks for taking it deep.
Hey, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it. So, what do you got to bring to the table today?
My girlfriend and I just got back from South Carolina.
I like this because I know people in South Carolina are pretty belligerent about. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. You were down there.
Yeah.
I hear they're pretty like, oh, we don't have to deal with that in South Carolina. Oddly enough, I have 2 relatives down there that both have the Rona. But keep going. Continue.
It is another world. We were in Myrtle Beach. My girlfriend's parents lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, you know what? We're just going to go out for one night. We're just going to check it out, see what it's like to go to a restaurant. It's been so long. And I kid you not, we were I want to say the 5% of people that were actually wearing masks.
Wow.
No one else. Not the wait staff, not guests. Like, we were the only ones wearing masks. And the waitress comes over to our table to take our order. And she's not keeping distance at all. She's in our face. And I'm wearing a mask. And I'm, like, leaning back to be like, hello? Like, you're in my face.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that is our approach up here is there might be some people who don't want to wear it that are employees, but they do it anyway. You'd be considerate of the guests like yourself that might actually take it seriously. Doesn't seem like they care about that.
Yeah, and I'm in an unfortunate position where I have to take it super seriously because one of my closest friends has diabetes. My mom has Crohn's, Hashimoto's, and a whole slew of other health issues. So I can't mess around with risking, even though my health is good, like, I can't worry about other people getting it. And South Carolina was just a whole other world, and it was amazing going from there to New Jersey, walking through Walmart and not seeing people wear masks. Like, blew my mind.
Well, yeah, and I have a friend that lives in South Carolina as well, and this is the cool thing about doing a podcast. You know, if your friends are listening, because you could talk shit about them, and if they're listening, they'll be like, hey, why'd you say that? So he's always like, oh, it's a hoax, it's this or not. Things definitely get overplayed in the real world and underplayed as well. I mean, that's just everything in general. But people are always out there with the, aha, I told you it was fake bullshit. And I have a brother and a sister-in-law who, coincidentally, the sister-in-law is an OBGYN in Hilton Head, South Carolina, which is a very affluent part of South Carolina, that got it. And they have underlying conditions. And, you're hearing a guy say it's a hoax, and then people down there, I see that he has friends down there, and they're like, oh, yeah, because it's been made political. And I'm just like, oh, why are we doing this to each other? You know what I mean? I mean, did you feel like it was like a political stance by these people down there, or just in general it had nothing to do with that? They're like, oh, this isn't a problem in South Carolina because we don't have A, B, and C here.
It's hard to tell. I mean, granted, you're in South Carolina. You see a lot of people wearing Trump 2020 shirts.
That's definitely Trump country. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
What's that?
That's definitely Trump country. I mean, it's safe to say, that's Trump country.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Myrtle Beach, though, it's like a tourism hub. So, you're getting a whole mix of different people there. And even the people that seem to be, from out of state, they weren't wearing masks either. And by out of state, I mean they just look like, I don't know how you can describe the people from the Northeast look different, or California, what have you. But they weren't wearing Trump sporting stuff. They weren't wearing, camo. But, you see a lot of license plates, too, when you're in the parking lot of Walmart. That's probably where it really stuck, was where I was seeing people go back to their cars when my girlfriend was in the Walmart there. And just seeing people from other states not doing the same thing.
Yeah, I hate the mask. I mean, look at my beard.
Because of the rules, or?
Yeah, I almost feel like they feel like it's sticking it to the man. I don't get it. I've seen it in my area, less so in the Northeast, but more so in other states. Arizona is like the wild, wild west right now, and they're booming with corona cases. I saw stories of them not wanting to social distance during July 4th, and they're like, we're American. You know what I mean? And America. And, have at it if you want to make that choice. But the thing about it here is, can you make that choice for everyone? And that's where the problem is. Are you making this choice for other people besides yourself by not doing it? And who knows what if we find out masks weren't needed 20 years later, which I doubt, but let's just say that happens. What's wrong with being cautious and being wrong? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, if we're wrong, we're like, oh, well, we didn't need that. It's better to find out that way than someone in the hospital that's close to you dying that you can't say bye to in person because you didn't want to wear a fucking mask. And, working in that, if I worked in a restaurant, I would want someone to wear a mask because why wouldn't I? I don't know where they came from. Yeah. My day job's a retail setting. I don't know where these people come from. I don't know if they're hand washers. I don't know if they're filthy savages. I don't know. But I do know that one of my favorite memes I've seen lately is, I don't know if you've seen it, the peeing on the pants meme. Like, hey, if I don't have any pants and I piss on you and you don't have any pants, it gets all over each other. Have you seen that one? It's one of my favorite memes that go around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know.
I love that.
You think the football season's going to happen?
Oh, I can't even begin to guess. I feel like teams are just going to do whatever they think is best for their bottom line, not so much the health of players or fans. I think it's really just going to come down to which players can afford to do it and which ones can't.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Are you a Giants fan, an Eagles fan, a Jets fan?
Oh, Jets.
Oh my God! Sorry.
My girlfriend is a Giants fan, so we represent New York, except for Buffalo. So.
Is there a fan base that is more tortured in the NFL long term than the New York Jets fan base? I feel like them and the Browns go hand in hand, but the Jets they're angrier. Jets fans. Is that true?
Oh, I don't even really follow football enough to really even care to that level. If there's any team that I care about, it's the Devils. Okay. So New Jersey's only team.
New Jersey's only team.
If I'm going to a game at MetLife, which is like 10 minutes away from me, like, yeah, going to see a Jets game because guess what? Their tickets are a lot cheaper than Giants.
Are they? Well,
oh my God, half the price.
They have to be because
unless they're going against the Giants.
Because they're not doing well right now. I hope the Jets win the Super Bowl one year because that would be like revenge on everybody. That's how people felt when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They were like, "Oh God damn it, the Eagles won." And I'm like, "That's right, take it." No one was happy about that. But thanks for calling in. Thanks for listening. And thanks for dropping that knowledge about South Carolina because, I was wondering how it was in those non-sports represented southern states. So take it deep. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So anybody else want to call in, feel free, 856-485-9565. But that was interesting for him to say that. And, that, him bringing up South Carolina makes me want to bring up another thing about sports and will they happen. And one of them is college football. Now, it's one thing to ask athletes who are paid to show up and play these sports. But how can the NCAA actually get players to play that aren't paid? Kind of interesting concept right there, huh, Mike?
Yes. Let me get back into this. I was letting you guys go off on your sports. Whenever you start talking real men's sports, I kind of make sure that just back away like that meme from Homer Simpson.
Yeah, that's funny. We'll get back into that the college thing, but regarding football, if you're going to draft rookies in the fantasy draft, if you're going to make bets, if you're going to do things like that, and you're going to bet on rookies that they haven't had any preseason action because there's not going to be any preseason and a limited training camp, I wouldn't do it. Like you see a lot of people saying, "Oh, let's draft in fantasy drafts." Edwards-Helaire, who is the Chiefs' first-round draft pick, guess what? It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not
going to happen.
No. And if you know Andy Reid, he likes to have a guy in there that knows how to pass block. They have a lot of veterans that they signed under the DeAndre Washington, Elijah McGuire, things like that. So when you guys are betting football or looking at football teams, you need to know the backups. You need to know the practice squad players. You need to know the in-depth knowledge of these teams this year because it could get down to that. Because if the guy he tested positive or they feel like he came in contact with someone, boom, 2 weeks he's out. So you better know, you better be on the ball. And don't fall asleep at the wheel thinking, oh, man, I'll get around to it. The season's not even going to happen. The football season, I'm telling you, is going to happen. There's a lot of money that rides on it. Gambling, sports, casinos that have these betting apps. There's a lot of shit riding on football happening. And they're already going to lose the in-person money. They're going to make sure of it. I don't think the NFL is going to have fans in the stands. They'd be out of their fucking mind to do it. Because what's going to happen is if they do, the local municipalities will shut them down. Just look at Canada. They said, and they made a great decision. And Canada is doing really well with Corona compared to us, even though they're our neighbors. I think I talked about this last week, but they said, Toronto, you're not going to have all these American teams flying into Toronto playing baseball and then causing a spike of infections. They did allow the NHL to do the bubble there, and they're having some success keeping it contained while still having the NHL season. So you can't – the fans in the stands, I don't know if it's going to happen. This winter's too soon, and everybody's afraid that there's going to be a resurgence in flu when the winter happens. So what do? And you're going to have to keep things distant. So you might have to create bubble cities within themselves, I think, is the NFL for each home team.
I mean, sadly, sports just isn't essential to
shut your mouth
as a job. It's not essential. It's sports. It's entertainment.
But but here's the thing about that. You're right. But a lot of these things that aren't essential drive jobs and create jobs.
Well, that's one of the reasons why our current president is pushing so hard for everybody to get back to work, to everybody to get back to doing stuff, because there's so many different sectors of employment that are being affected by every little thing. Yeah. Me and you can go to our jobs because, I mean, we're essential, but we're not. Like myself, I'm essential. Laura's essential. Like sports just isn't, and that's a sad truth. I understand that it's a huge part of Americana, huge part of people's lives, a huge part of everything, but it's not. I want to see it all back. Trust me. I'm just being a realist real fast. At the end of the day, dude, it feels weird to not have any sports on, and I'm not even a sports fan. It feels weird. It feels weird. I probably shouldn't say this, but it feels weird, like 9/11 afterwards when there was no airplanes in the sky, and you didn't realize how much you saw airplanes in the sky until after they took them all down and grounded them for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like everything coming to a halt and not having certain things that were just there is that eeriness that just is a continuing reminder of what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's like the last time I remember something being so devastating that it took away something that you didn't realize was important in your own personal life, but then when it's gone, you're like, wow, that is really strange, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you. And here's the thing. There's going to be, everybody wants perfection in how dealing with this. There's going to be instances where people get things wrong, but you want to have some leadership, you know, in every instance. Like the MLB had poor leadership until now. Now they're making it required. Oh, why didn't you guys do that like fucking last year? You know, they had the longest time forever to put in an ironclad system. And, you know, government all over the place has shown poor leadership. I'm not going to get into a whole political what to do about that, but
here's a question for you. With the way that the sports teams and coaches and everything that's going on, you see some are doing it right, some are doing it wrong. Do you think it's poor leadership? Do you think it's just being cocky? Or do you think it's just not knowing how to handle the situation?
I think it's a mixture.
Okay.
I think it's a mixture. And I think a lot of people in general will not take things seriously in America until it hits them right in the face personally.
Yeah.
Now, what that is to trigger that emotion, I don't know. Like maybe a lot of Eagles fans take it more seriously because Doug Pederson got corona.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's real because it kind of hit home, even though it's not directly their home. And that's a good example because, you know, Alexander there called up and talked about South Carolina. They really haven't had a huge spike, although some places like to ignore reality and not allow the results to come out. You know, the whole more testing leads to more. Okay, well, duh. If there's infections. So, you know, I mean, you know, and some places like that are being cocky, I think, because Florida and Arizona are two perfect examples.
Yeah.
They're on fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the sports teams from Florida had like 17 players on their team. You know, so to me, we're going to have to learn how to live through this because we can't let it shut everything down. However, you got to be strategic with it as well. So it's a combination of both. You know, I think people in general just get fed up because they're stressed out by life in general, right? Like I was having a conversation today about, you know, how I felt more healthy when we were locked down. Not that I want to be locked down, but I was able to walk every day. I was able to eat healthier. I was able to cook, you know, and now we're getting back to the rigors of everyday life. And it's like, I don't have fucking time to do shit but wipe my ass. And that's pretty much it. And no one gives a fuck. And they're like, get out there, bitch, and continue it like it never happened. And it makes you realize that time is worth more than money. It is our most valuable asset.
Oh, yeah,
you cannot
absolutely.
buy additional time.
No.
You know, maybe you can buy another year on a ventilator if you're rich. I don't know. But you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And sports is the same thing, you know. And a lot of people have time invested in careers. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm rooting for football to happen no matter what because it definitely deeply impacts my show. Am I selfish for that? Maybe. But at least I'm being honest with you.
Right.
So, either that or we're going to be doing honorable mentions the whole football season.
My honorable mention
is White Castle.
Yeah. Which the Crave case is disgusting.
Yeah. If you can eat a Crave case in one sitting, you have to be extremely high or you are a fat bastard.
All right, that's the deal. I will get high if somebody comes to my house with a Crave case. That's the stipulation. Just putting that out there to people, especially Fishman.
Yeah, but guys, as far as betting, that's a big... Remember, when other stuff has happened, betting wasn't involved. There's a lot of money involved in that industry and getting things going. Casinos are being built, apps are being built, people are investing. There's a lot of push coming from that way. So we're going to have to reinvent society almost. You know, less traveling is going to happen, apparently. You know, less people are going to be working in the office. I mean, I haven't seen real traffic consistently for a while because people are working from home. You're going to start seeing people move from the suburbs outside of the cities away from there because they're like, why do I need to live here? I don't need to go into an office, which is a great question. And you're going to start to see reality stars loot in Arizona like Jake Paul. No, I'm just joking. That's not going to happen. Hopefully no one's that stupid. But yeah, you know, baseball's seeing its worst and it's still going. You know, being a Phillies fan, as you can see, I was like, wow, their season's fucked. And they still kept it going. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's 2020. 2020 has been one of the weirdest years in a long time. I think that's fair to say.
How do you think one game that I actually do watch, I usually watch it with friends, it's more about drinking, is the Super Bowl. A COVID Super Bowl.
Do I think it's going to happen?
Do you think it's going to happen? And how what do you think it's going to be
Wow,
like?
I didn't think about that. What happens? Are we going to see a Super Bowl with nobody in the stands?
There you go.
Think that's
yeah.
That is going to, bring out some creativity
and
how to do it. How how to put in crowd noise maybe, or you're going to hear the sounds of the game more. That's going to be interesting. You're going to have all the Karens and the Chads tuned in, so they might have some things to say about it. I think this is how the NFL season plays out if I had to take a guess. I think it starts with a delay. I think it might get delayed 2 to 4 weeks. They built in 4 weeks in their schedule so they can have the Super Bowl, I think, all the way in March. All right? And I think that the NFL season does happen in full. I think that, it's going to happen through everything else. And it's going to be a tumultuous November. You got the election happening, possibly a resurgence of the virus, unemployment's high. And no football is going to be the fucking straw that breaks the camel's back. So they're going to make that happen. I know it sounds crazy. You might not think it's essential, but it's going to keep some people sane.
Oh, it is.
And,
for mental stability, yeah.
And we're not the best with supporting mental stability here in the States, as we were just talking about. So the NBA is having great success, like I said. There's no preseason games, and things are changing, And just don't freak out. It will happen, my friends. It will happen. The football season is going to happen. I 100% agree. But then you have to ask yourself, well, why can this happen and why can that not happen? You know what I mean? Like he's the gentleman that called up. Like, okay, we're eating in restaurants, but no one's wearing a mask down there. So are the officials that decided to let that happen, are they going to report the honest results if there is a spike? Right? I guess because what will probably happen is they won't, and then the hospitals will be filled, and then people are going to find out, right? So I hope that doesn't happen to them down there because I don't want to see that happen to anyone. Just because I may not agree with them on their ideology doesn't mean I wish harm on them or ill will to their family. I don't want that to be the message. So a lot of players are opting out, but not anybody of significant. Tre'Davious White was supposed to opt out of the Buffalo Bills, and he did not. He said he's going to stay in the season, but he wanted to talk to his wife. He wanted to see if it was worth it. And I think what a lot of players and a lot of people going back to work want to see is how are their employers going to handle the setup for dealing with social distancing and COVID-19. So a lot of players are peeking their head in there like, do I believe it's going to be successful? Do they do it? Do they really care? Everybody's going through that question, no matter what you do. Unfortunately for me, I have to deal with that in my job. They're doing the best they can, I believe, to an extent. And, they're learning just like everybody else. So it's one of these things where what will happen? But I do know football will. So with that being said, we're going to wrap things up today, folks. Mike has to go to a fast food eating contest. Just kidding. He's not going to go there.
Great case.
Ugh. Makes my blood pressure go up. Crispy Crunch Chicken. Chick-fil-A is not overrated. We have learned that today. Arby's is the ish or shit. I get, And, all Mike needs is a Biodome with Pauly Shore so he can wheeze the juice and eat Arby's. So, if, we'll come up with a Pauly Shore list in the next couple of weeks, but we're going to come up with some of the worst movies of the 90s all time next week. We'll give like a top 10 list of worst movies all time from the 1990s. There's a lot of them.
With 20 honorable mentions.
25 honorable mentions. All honorable mentions, except we're going to change the name of the show to the Honorable Mention Show. So, yes. Well, I have seen, it has been a while since I've seen Alex. He said the gentleman. Well, I didn't want to so thanks for calling it Alex. But at least I called you a gentleman. So, it has been a while since I've seen him. Movies are his specialty, so he'll be in next week. If I didn't call you a gentleman, then I meant I didn't have respect for you. So that's a good thing, right? But it has been a long time. I haven't seen him for like 3 years. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. And thanks for tuning in. And we will be back next week. This was a hectic week for me personally, as it was probably for everybody else. I hope everybody's safe and happy out there and didn't get injured during the storm or getting any flooding or they're dealing with trials and tribulations from the storm. The storm was crazy. Was it crazy here, Mike? A lot of trees falling down, a lot of crap like that happening. And I hope everybody's family is doing well, and everybody, takes time to take a deep breath and realize, it's not that bad. You're just taking it deep for a little bit, real deep. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And this is the Godfrey not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.